Hi friends, welcome to Love Good Kitchen. My name is Matthew. Thanks for joining us. Today we are going to be making my Aunt Isabel's recipe for goulash. And my Aunt Isabel is actually she was my great aunt. So my dad's aunt on my dad's mom's side. And so the story goes, she was not a very good cook. But there were a few things that she really knocked out of the park, and her goulash recipe is one of them. So that's what we're doing today, a sort of family heritage recipe. So I've gotten a head start before we got going here, and in my Dutch oven I have 1.5 pounds of ground beef that we're going to brown up. And I know it's controversial. Some cooks and chefs say that you should not season your meat until after you brown it. I don't know. I am a person who I have to season it so that it has some flavor going before you get into the recipe. So I'm gonna season mine with a little salt and pepper. That looks good. These salt and pepper shakers are really old. They've got the, I don't know what metal that is, aluminum top on them. They were my grandmother's. They're not expensive. They're not like a valuable collection. They are just really old and used to be my grandma's, so I like those. They are not the only salt and pepper shakers that I have, though. I think the most recent ones I got from my friend Linda for my birthday, and they are a set of little gnomes. They're very cute. I have those right over there. But we're just gonna let that brown up and get going. I like this thing. This is a Pampered Chef item. It's wood. I don't know what kind of wood. Maybe it's teak, I'm not sure. But it's like a paddle, spatula, spoonula type thing. But I like it. It's a good shape. Has a nice long handle. Anyway, so we're gonna let that go for a second. We also are going to need a chopped up green bell pepper and a diced onion. So let me grab an onion here out of my basket. What looks good? Skins are flying around here. Okay, we're gonna use that one, I think. And then grab a knife. Oh, that's not a knife. Let's do our green pepper first. I don't like to waste any parts of these vegetables and ingredients because, especially now, everything is so expensive. So I just took the little, the stem part off, and I'll dice this up too because that's perfectly good green pepper. It doesn't have to be a super small dice, but then again, you also don't want giant chunks of green pepper. So what would that be? A medium dice? That in my bowl. The way I do it, I just take that center part, the membranes, and I give it a twist, and it comes right out. Do you see our guest here? You gonna say hi, Ramsey?
Hi.
And I don't really have any seeds in there, but if I did, I'd want to take those out. And then I cut it in half. And then I'm just going to flatten it a little bit as I first cut it into strips. And then from there, it's really easy just to chop into our medium dice. That's fine. And now we're just going to go the other direction. I will also mention that this goulash recipe is not like authentic Hungarian or whatever. This is kind of a good, tasty, Americanized version. And you'll see why in a moment. Okay, that should be good. Put these in our bowl. Right. That's good. Let's check our beef here. It's looking good. I did use my mix and chop. If you have one of those from Pampered Chef, it has the 4 sort of prongs, and it breaks up ground meat, or you can use it for tomatoes. You can use it for lots of different things, but I did use that when I first put this into the pot to brown up and break up. Okay, it's looking good. It's almost there. A little bit of pink left. We don't want any pink in the ground meat, so we're gonna let that go for just a little bit more. And then I'll show you what I've been doing when I need to drain the grease off of meat. Lately, I've tried all different kinds of apparatus to do that, and we'll talk about that in a second. But we also need 1 chopped onion. This one is a medium onion, leaning maybe towards the small side, but it's going to be fine. You could use a large onion, or I mean whatever. If you only had a small onion at home, use that. Or you could do 2 small onions. Got my garbage bowl here. This is a Rachel Ray garbage bowl. It's actually what it's called. And it has the little gripper on the bottom so it doesn't slide down. My husband likes to make fun of me because he's like, well, what's the difference between an official Rachel Ray garbage bowl and just any bowl that you put scraps in? And I said, well, I guess none. However, this is a great size, and it's what do they call that? Is it melamine material? So it's plastic-ish. I'm not exactly sure what melamine is made out of. If you know and you're watching, leave us a comment. Let us know what you know about melamine. Okay, my onion skin got stuck. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, there we go. I don't want any onion skin left on my... So I have one of these. I actually don't know where this is from because it was given to me as a gift a couple Christmases ago, but it's one of those onion choppers, and there are different plates you can put in for different sizes of chop, but I love it. I don't, for like onions especially, because I don't necessarily love chopping a ton of onion, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to do this into quarters, and then you put a quarter on there. You do have to press down with a little bit of force, but one more. There. So that's done, and then it goes through into the little reservoir dish there, and that's it. All evenly chopped onion. Let's move that up here. And bring this around. Okay, our ground beef that we seasoned with a little salt and pepper is looking good. By the way, isn't this beautiful? This Dutch oven I've had for a couple months. I got it at Sam's Club, I think. They had a navy blue, and they also had sort of a cranberry color. I chose this one because I thought it was really pretty, and also I don't really have very many white pots and dishes, so I thought this was a nice variety, switch things up a little bit. The lid is pretty too, and it's got that faux gold handle. But this is a cast iron Dutch oven. Okay, so let's turn this down while I do this. But, so what I've been doing lately to drain off my ground beef, and there isn't a ton, actually, there isn't a ton of grease here today, but I do need to take the meat out anyway because we're gonna brown up our green pepper and onion separately. But I've tried doing it through a strainer. I had one of those crescent moon shaped things that you hold on the pan to pour off grease, but it gets trapped in the lip of the bottom, and the other one made a splattery mess. They weren't working for me. So this is a spider ladle. This one happens to be tempered chef. But I found that this is the easiest way just for me to go in and for the most part it takes your meat out, but you leave the grease in the pan.
Andy, and when did you switch away from dress?
And it only takes a few scoops. This is as I mentioned before, this is 1.5 pounds of beef. Here we go. And so now actually, if I didn't have this amount of grease, or if I had too much, then I would take it out. But instead of doing our onions and green pepper in butter or olive oil, I'm just going to use this because it's already there. We don't have to work at it. So I'm going to add onion and the green pepper, and we're going to let that soften. It doesn't have to be, we're not trying to caramelize the onions or do anything too crazy with the green pepper, but give it a stir. We're just going to let that cook, get our heat a little higher again. It should be good. And that'll only take a couple minutes as we get that going. So we're letting that cook and soften. The next thing that we need to get ready is, the recipe calls for about 3 average size tomatoes that are cut up into chunks. So this is actually 5 tomatoes, but these are on the small side. These are some of those tomatoes on the vine. So either 3 average size ones, these are kind of small, so I'm gonna do 5, also because that's how many came in this package, and I'm not gonna waste any. But we're gonna just cut these up into chunks, and then this recipe is kind of old. Whoops, we forgot a green pepper. This recipe is kind of old, so it calls for a 1 pound can of tomatoes. That's not really a thing anymore. But what I decided to get, which will be tasty, is this is diced tomatoes. These happen to be fire roasted. This is the Aldi brand. I don't know if you've tried these. It's tasty. I recommend it. But we're going to use one of these. So it is listed as 14.5 ounces, which isn't quite a pound. So I have another one in case we get everything going here and it looks like we need a little bit more of the tomatoes. We're going to put these in with the liquid and everything. So that's the other thing that we need. We talked about the tomatoes. We're going to add just a little bit, a heavy pinch of oregano, and then we have 2 packages of Sloppy Joe seasoning mix. These are 1 1/4 ounce packages. This happens to be Hy-Vee store brand, but it doesn't matter what brand or what kind. So let's check our. Okay, it's looking good. Our vegetables are softening, which is what we want. Because we are going to cook this all together We're gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes, but once everything is assembled, that's not really quite enough time to soften the green peppers and onions. It's just enough time to kind of bring the flavors together, and we don't necessarily want super crunchy veggies in this one. So that's looking good. Let's get going on these tomatoes, and by the time we're done with these, I bet that is going to be ready. So I'm going to slice off the top where the stem is. That one doesn't really need it, but just do the top part there. And this part. I actually have a tomato knife somewhere. I suppose I could use that since these are tomatoes, but I had this knife out, so we're just going to use this one. Okay, that's fine. So let's try this. We'll do half and half, and then we'll do half again. There, that looks pretty good. So I cut them in half, and then in half lengthwise, and then I'm just doing kind of 1-inch chunks. And I just did this one the opposite direction that I just told you, but it doesn't matter because we're just doing a rough chop or chunk. My husband does not eat raw tomatoes. However, by the time this gets added in and everything cooks a little bit, he's fine with it. So we don't have to worry about that. It's not even necessarily the tomato flesh that he doesn't like. It's the goo in the inside. He can't. It's a texture thing. He can't do it. Which I have to say, I like tomatoes, but the gooey part in the center with the seeds is not necessarily my favorite thing. So I get it. Okay, that looks good. We did it. Let's check our veggies. And I think that is good. So they're softened, but they're not mushy. The onions have gone just a little bit translucent, which is like, they're not see-through, but they're not the opaque white that we started with. So I think that's good. I think we're going to add in our oregano. So grab that. And it says a heavy pinch, but I think this is more like maybe a quarter to a half a teaspoon. Looks good. I'm going to add some more salt and pepper. This is, well, a little bit less than a teaspoon. We're going to start there. We'll give it a taste, see how we're doing. That was kosher salt, by the way. And this is ground black pepper. Put some of that in. It's fine. Let's add in our tomatoes. This is the fire roasted diced tomatoes. We're going to put it in with the liquid. See if I can do this without splashing it all over myself, especially as I'm wearing a white sweater. Probably should put on an apron. Yum! And then we're going to add in our chunked up, oh, those pieces are kind of big. Let's cut those one more time. Let's do a little check here. And a couple spots that didn't get cut very well. Okay, so we're going to put those in. Give it a stir. beef back into our pot. That's what we had strained out. Give it a stir. Next, we're going to add our 2 packets of Sloppy Joe seasoning mix. I'm going to grab the scissors so I can do this easier. I will also mention that earlier today I cooked up a pound of medium shell pasta. So not the tiny ones that you would do like in a cold pasta salad, and they're not the jumbo shells that you'd stuff, whatever that medium size is. I cooked up a pound of that in salted boiling water according to the package directions. That looks good. Okay, let's get this stirred around. Do you like goulash? Are you a goulash fan? I've had many different types. Some of it Czech style, and I don't know. There are a lot of different versions, I guess, just like a lot of other foods. This is looking good. You know what? I think I am going to add in, I have another can of the fire roasted diced tomatoes. I'm going to put that in because I feel like we could use just a little more sauce, if you will. Oh, the colors are pretty with the green pepper and the red tomato, and it smells really good. Okay, let's see if we missed anything. We got those, we got our veggies, we got the beef, and our cut up tomatoes, and our seasoning mix, a little oregano. I think we're good. Okay, so I'll be right back in a second with our shell pasta, and we're gonna stir it in. Okay, so I've got my 1 pound of the medium shell pasta that we're gonna add in to our goulash. I did wash my hands, so don't worry that I'm using my hands. They are clean.
There's nowhere for it to go, Kieran.
Okay, so carefully, we're just gonna stir this in. I'm actually making this for later in the week, well, tomorrow, so that dinner is ready when we come home from work. So this is going to sit, and the flavors are going to come together, and we're also going to reheat it again before we eat it tomorrow. If we weren't doing that, if we were eating this on the same day, then I would let this simmer on low and put the lid on for about 20 minutes or so. It just kind of helps everything come together. But I think we should give Aunt Isabel's goulash a taste. Make sure we don't need to adjust any seasonings, right? So let me get a little pasta and some tomato. Okay, I don't want to burn my face off either. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Good job, Aunt Isabel. It's really good. Good flavors. I love pasta, so I like the shells in there. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. or if you have any questions or anything to add, put it in the comments below. I do read the comments on our videos. So yeah, give it a try. Don't worry about trying to write everything down or whatnot. I'm going to put the recipe in the description box below. And yes, thank you for watching. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you did, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. That helps out our channel, and also you'll get notified anytime we post a new video. So thanks for coming in today and spending some time with me. I'm glad we're friends on the internet, and yeah, I hope to see you again real soon. Have a good day. Bye.